Good morning. Welcome to the Wichita Police Department Interwatch, Thursday, March 8th. Hope everyone's having a good week. Have several items we're going to cover today. Also have a special guest. Officer Edison will be here to speak with us a little bit. Just about a move-over campaign we are going to be talking about with our media. So he'll be talking about that just in a little bit. Let's get right to it. First one is going to be an aggravated robbery of a commercial house. This occurred in the 3300 block of North Rock Road at the Circle K. Case number 14906. Occurred about 6 o'clock this morning. Thursday, March 8th, approximately 6 a.m. Officers responded to a robbery in progress call at the Circle K in the 3300 block of North Rock Road. Officers arrived to make contact with an employee who stated that two unknown suspects had entered the business, both armed with firearms, and they were demanding money. Money, tobacco products, and lighters were taken by the suspects, who then fled the store on foot. Fortunately, there were no injuries in this case, and we're asking if anybody has any additional information to please call our detectives at 268-4407, or again, Crime Stoppers at 267-2111. First suspect's an unknown black male in his 20s, about 5'9" to 5'10", slim build, light complexion. He had a white t-shirt covering his face, was wearing a gray hoodie, gloves, armed with a handgun. Second suspect's the unknown black male, 19 to 20 years of age, 5'7", skinny build, medium to dark complexion, was wearing a dark blue hoodie, black pants, black gloves, and had a Uzi style gun. Second case we're going to talk about today is an aggravated assault. This occurred in the 1500 block of South Pershing yesterday afternoon, approximately 4:30. Case number is 18C14779. On Wednesday, March 7th, at approximately 4:30 p.m., officers responded to a drive-by call in the 1500 block of South Pershing. Multiple witnesses had observed a gray Dodge Magnum leave the area after numerous shots had been fired. An officer quickly arrived in the area of the call and observed and stopped the suspect vehicle in the area of Harry and Oliver. And upon stopping the vehicle, a 20-year-old male driver fled from the vehicle on foot. Officers began to pursue the suspect on foot, and as they were doing that, they observed he was still holding a gun. Officers were able to take the male into custody without incident. The male was arrested and booked into jail for possession of a firearm by a felon and criminal discharge of a firearm. Outstanding job by our patrol police officers in making an arrest in this violent incident.
Was the gray Dodge Magnum, did it belong to the 20-year-old?
I don't know if it was his vehicle, but he was driving that vehicle.
What was the case number on that again?
14779.
779?
Yes, 14779.
And there were no injuries?
Correct, no injuries.
The criminal discharge, that was for the earlier reported drive-by. He didn't fire any shots during the chase.
Correct.
Did the shots hit anything?
There was one house that we found later to have been struck by a gunshot. Again, no injuries, but there was one house we located.
Was anyone inside the house?
Yes.
Was that person targeted for any reason?
We're still trying to determine all the circumstances of what had occurred. At this time, we don't believe that person was targeted, but we're still trying to determine through our investigation all the circumstances of what occurred during this incident.
There's just one person inside the house?
There was, I know at least one person. I don't know if there was additional or not.
Any gang affiliations?
Not that I'm aware of. Okay, a couple of items I want to cover. On Wednesday, March 7th, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., officers from our Patrol North Bureau, officers from our Wichita Police Department Centralized Traffic Unit, and officers from the Bel Air Police Department partnered together with the Union Pacific Railroad, focusing on railroad crossing violations. The areas monitored were in the 3300 block of North Hillside, the 3900 block of North Oliver, 37th and Ridgewood, and also the 4000 block of North Woodlawn. During this assignment, partnering with other agencies, 13 citations were issued by officers for railroad crossing violations.
13, you said?
13, correct.
What is the reminder for folks about railroad crossings?
Just if those railroad arms are down, not to go around those railroad arms, it can be very dangerous, as obviously the railroad arms being down is indicative of a train coming down the railroad tracks, so we're asking everyone to make sure they obey the city ordinance and not to go around those traffic railroad safety arms that are down.
In those 13 violations, is that what all 13 did, was drive around the?
Yes. Yes.
And when was this enforcement again?
It was just a partnering enforcement reference the railroad crossing violations.
When was it?
When?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said what was it? It was yesterday from about 7 to 11.
From what time? Sorry.
7 a.m. to 11 a.m. yesterday morning.
Do you know what the fine is for that?
I don't.
Okay.
If someone comes to crossing signs that they think might be broken, if they've been down for several minutes with no train or anything, what should they do? Should they call 911?
Sure, yeah. They could always contact 911 and let them know that the railroad arms are down and it does not appear that a train is coming down, possibly some type of malfunction, and then 911 can notify the correct authorities, notify the Pacific Railroad to have it come out and check it.
But they should still never cross, even if they think they're broken. They should still never cross the barriers.
Right, unless they can see that it's clear and it's obviously some type of malfunction. But these were not malfunctioning railroad arms during this assignment.
Are there any other railroad crossing violations that drivers should take extra care to remember while driving?
Help me understand your question. I'm
Are there
sorry.
any other common railroad crossing violations that police see happen?
No, the main one is just to make sure that if those crossing arms are down, not to go around those crossing arms. All right, just a reminder about some street closures coming up on Sunday, March 11th. Is the Wichita Brewing Marathon. The marathon begins at 8 a.m. at 13th and Tyler and ends at approximately 2 p.m. at Central and Woodlawn. Most of the event will take place on bike paths or sidewalks, which is going to result in only temporary road closures as runners pass through sporadic intersections. We do want to let everybody know that there will be momentary delays at 13th and Ridge between 8 a.m. and 8:15 a.m. on the 11th. And also Windmill and Zoo Boulevard will be closed for approximately 30 minutes from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. on Sunday, March 11th during this marathon as well. The other intersections will only be sporadic and only temporarily closed for just a matter of a few minutes as we continue to assist the marathon runners going through safely.
Zoo Boulevard and what intersection?
Windmill, that one will be closed for about 30 minutes.
And tell us the path again, the start and the end.
The start will be at 13th and Tyler, and it ends at Central and Woodlawn. And I have the exact path if you want. I can get that to you as well.
What was the official name of this marathon?
It's the Wichita Brewing Marathon. All right, the Wichita Police Department, we continue to investigate the missing child case of 5-year-old Lucas Hernandez. We continue to work with members of EquiSearch who have assisted the Wichita Police Department in the search for him. And we continue to ask for the public's help. Somebody out there has information, and we're asking if you have that information to please come forward and provide us that information by calling our tip line at 383-4661. So any information from the public, again, tip line 383-4661.
Is EquiSearch still searching?
We're still working with them. I don't know if they're actively searching right now, but we are still working with them as part of the investigation.
What are investigators doing at this point?
We're continuing to look at information and tips that come through, and in hopes that we can locate Lucas, we're continuing to work with EquiSearch, and we'll continue to ask for the community to call us if they have any information at our tip line, 383-4661. All right, that's what I have for our Interwatch today. I have Officer Edison here that is going to be coming up and speaking to us about moving over for emergency vehicles, and a part of the Move Over campaign that we're going to be doing today. So I'll hand it over to Officer Edison.
Can you give me 1 second real quick?
Yes.
Some space.
We get your first name and spell.
Jordan Edison, JordanEdison.
You have a phone like that? Huh?
And you're one of how many
Oh, so this is all right.
officers on motorcycle again?
7.
Are you guys gonna come out and try to film something like this? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so if we do this, we're gonna do our best, trying to stage a car stop and catch this live. You know, we gotta kinda set you up, we'll probably have you go off on the grass at Kellogg and, between Seneca and Meridian. And, let's go for eastbound. I think that grass goes down there, is that plenty of room, should be plenty of room? And then I'll set the guys further back, well, the guys are gonna go out there because I'm over my head paperwork. We'll try to have them set up further, west of your location to get a violation. We'll do our best to get it close to where you're at. There's no, it's really hard, it's hard to say, hey, I'm gonna get a guy, and I'm gonna stop him right here on the X. We'll do our best to get him to go there, okay?
Well, do the, you want them finish real quick?
Well, yeah, I just wanna make sure you were set up and,
Just to, I mean, and maybe you guys don't care about this, but is he gonna come out there, or who's gonna be doing it?
yeah, he'll be out there, then I'm gonna have Officer Train and Officer, Morris go out there as well.
Is there any way that we could do an interview outside? I mean, unless you guys want it in here.
It's just, it'd be easier to go in here if you're gonna get a statement, and then he's gonna have his helmet on, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be having, the radio's gonna be going in his ear, and you're gonna be asking a lot of what, huh, what? But you can do it any which way you like. If you want something here,
I mean, I would prefer outside, but we can do it in here. That's
I
fine.
can have him stand out there with you guys,
I don't know if you guys have any
and you
preference.
guys can watch a car
That
stop.
would be good even, so, I gotta get something here.
Okay.
We can do
We
something
can
out there
just do it
too.
here.
Do you want him standing by with you three while they do the car stop, if there's questions or something? I'm trying to help you, I'm just trying to.
What was
So
that?
you'll
This
have a
kind
car,
of-
you'll have
These are a
a,
lot harder to
you'll have a
do.
vehicle parked on the shoulder, and if people don't give it a lane over, then you'll.
If they don't, he was gonna explain that,
Okay.
if they don't move over or slow down,
Okay.
I'm not stealing what he's doing, I just wanna
No.
give you guys a good location if you guys are gonna go on site. That's the little bit of a tricky problem, but
Right.
I'll back out, we'll be all here, so if you want him to be with you over there at the stop too, that's fine. And these guys can do the car stop, it's however you wanna do it. Russ.
Yeah, I mean, we can do this here for now. We'll figure it out.
Hey, I'm sorry. You
No,
ready?
you're fine.
Good.
Yep.
Good morning, I'm Officer Edison with the Wichita Police Department Motor Traffic Unit. I'm here to talk to you today about the Move Over campaign. The motorcycles have been on the street for a few months now. You've probably seen them out. One of the biggest things that we're running into now is people not moving over when an emergency vehicle does have a vehicle pulled over to the side, or emergency vehicle does have their lights activated on the side of the highway. You're by state law, you are to move over a lane if possible, and if you can't move over, to at least slow down and give as much room to that officer that's there. There's a lot of officer safety concerns that are there. There's an incident yesterday in Park City involving the Kansas Highway Patrol MAV unit. We, as the Wichita Police Department and our traffic unit, we offer our condolences to the Kansas Highway Patrol with that incident involving their operator. But that we're basically just trying to get people to pay more attention while they're driving. That when those lights go on and you hear that siren, if it's not behind you, it's still important to you to move over out of that way to provide its safety, not only for that vehicle that's being stopped, but for the officer that's stopping them, or the officer that may be on the window or transporting back and forth from the vehicle to their patrol vehicle.
What's the difference between being on a motorcycle and being in a vehicle?
The big difference is you don't have as much protection on a motorcycle. Being in a vehicle, if you were to be struck while you're inside the vehicle, you have somewhat of the crumple zones built into that vehicle that would absorb some of that blow. Being on a motorcycle, when we're on a traffic stop, we're not on that actual motorcycle except when we are coming to a stop and when we are leaving. We will be standing beside it. So there's really no protection for me or any motorcycle officer if a vehicle were to come up and strike the motorcycle itself or the officer there.
Can you tell me about any near instances with you specifically?
Me specifically, I haven't had as many incidences as a unit as a whole. We had one of the officers last month in February, had an instance up on Kellogg where it was a very close call with a vehicle almost coming in contact with her motorcycle. And so we've been dealing with this problem and trying to educate the public as we can, but it's something that we're trying to get out there that people know, because it is a ticketable offense. That if you were to not move over, we are going to be watching. We are going to be enforcing that, and trying to educate the public is the biggest part of that.
How much is that ticket?
That I don't know. I'm not up to date on the fine schedules. I know that they constantly changing, and with the change of the year, they did just update the fine schedule.
The Move Over campaign, is it a special enforcement for a couple of days or weeks? As of right now, it doesn't have an indeterminate amount of time. It's something that we're trying to get out there, and it just happens that yesterday there was that incident in Park City that it just highlights the fact of how important it is to get the public educated and paying more attention, because serious incidents can occur, even fatalities can occur.
Yeah, when incidents like yesterday happen, as a motor unit, the 7 of you guys, have you guys discussed it, and how do you guys feel about that?
It's pretty eye-opening for us. We did discuss it this morning and yesterday afternoon after it happened. It's just one of those things that we have to make sure that we're constantly diligent to paying more attention, because not only do you have to put yourself in our shoes, that while we're stopping that car, not only do you have to worry about what that car is going to do and what the person inside that car is going to do, but we also have to pay attention to every other vehicle that's coming along. And when you add in the factors of the wind, the high volume, that all the tires that going by, it's hard enough to hear everything there. We have helmets on, radio is constantly going. We're trying to talk to the person in the car, and you may not see that car coming up, and that's why there needs to be that buffer zone of a lane. And like I said, if you can't move over a lane, you need to at least slow down as much as you can safely. Don't cause an accident behind you, but give that buffer zone as much as you can to that officer.
Have you personally had a close call?
I have. I haven't had a close call on Kellogg yet. I've had a close call on the street, and I actually did educate that driver. It was at the completion of my car stop as I was coming back to my motorcycle. And I went and stopped that vehicle and educated that you need to move over. You can't share the same lane. Even though my motorcycle doesn't take up the whole lane, that doesn't give you the ability to still drive in that same lane. You have to move over.
In plain terms, how scary is that when you have the vehicle just inches from you going by at high speeds?
Your adrenaline goes from 0 to 100 real fast. Is the easiest way to put it. You're mostly thinking, because a lot of times you won't even know it's happening till they're right there on you. And at that point, then you're thinking, making sure you're safe, your bike is operable, and making sure they didn't strike the vehicle also in front of you. And at that point, then obviously, if you have the ability, you want to at least stop that person and educate them, let them know, hey, this is what you did wrong. This is what you should do next time.
Do most motorists obey this law, or do you see a lot of violations?
It's a big problem,
It's a big
especially in Wichita. It is a very big problem, and especially on Kellogg. We get a lot of people on Kellogg. Everybody's got places to be. We understand that, but it doesn't take that long to slow down or move over to allow that safety, because you have to remember, officers like to go home at the end of the day too. Okay, you all have places you need to go get to work or to get home. We have to get home as well, so we would like you to think about us while you are driving and make sure that you're giving us that buffer zone that we need.
And you said that that's problem is especially bad on Kellogg, but you've seen it on just streets.
We've seen it
throughout
on,
the city.
on regular streets, Kellogg 135, 235, K96. It's an ever-growing problem everywhere within the city of Wichita, and probably not even in the city of Wichita. It is a state law. It happens all across the state, and that's something that we're trying to make sure that we are helping and doing our part to let people know that.
And one more thing, obviously your motorcycle units have lots of lights. Describe the things that you guys do have to remind people this is an actual police motorcycle.
We have a lot of red and blue lights. You'll see them alternating colors. There is a very loud siren on the motorcycles, and it's pretty distinguishing. You can see our uniforms. Almost all of us now have our new uniforms in with the reflective stripe on the pants and on the jacket, so you'll be able to see us even at night. There is reflective material built onto the bike in addition to the lights as well. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.